Just 3 weeks after this episode was filmed, Peter and Gwenda Dixon were shot dead.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most unsettling or tragic events that completely recontextualized how we watch our favorite game shows.
Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome.
Number 10, a Wipeout contestant tragedy. Wipeout. Obstacle courses are fun, but they can come with a host of safety concerns. Wipeout does its best to vet contestants and provide them with sufficient protective gear, but accidents can still happen.
I think he may have crapped his pants.
Oh boy.
Contestant Michael Paredes found this out the hard way, suffering a heart attack after completing the show's obstacle course. He was promptly rushed to a local hospital, but it was too late to save him. TMZ reported on his death shortly after. In spite of the tragedy, the series went on as planned, but it's hard to shake the feeling that contestants are risking their lives for viewers' entertainment.
Oh my God, that was crazy!
Number 9, alleged poor conditions. Squid Game: The Challenge. In 2021, Squid Game became Netflix's newest hit show, garnering both mass appeal and critical approval for its dark yet captivating premise. But when the streaming giant announced that they would be producing their own game show based on the series' success, many were skeptical. Squid Game was critiquing the dystopian competition at its center, not endorsing it. Unfortunately, it turned out that the naysayers were right to be uneasy. Although Netflix naturally denied any foul play, contestants complained of unbearably cold sets and long hours. Some even compared the filming to a war zone. These anonymous criticisms of the show's conditions completely recontextualized the show, which has more similarities to its inspiration than many fans are comfortable with. Number 8, the 1950s quiz show scandals. Have you ever watched a game show and wondered if it may be rigged? In the 1950s, many viewers were stunned to learn that this was the reality for 3 major quiz shows: 21, The Big Surprise, and Dotto. The scandal began with 21, which was revealed to have scripted the loss of a contestant named Herb Stempel.
Then you win $20,000. Congratulations.
He lost out on an unknown amount of potential winnings, and to add insult to injury, the final nail in his competitive coffin was an incorrect answer about one of his favorite films.
Thank you for being a wonderful contestant. Herb Stempel, ladies and gentlemen.
On The Big Surprise, a warm-up question that contestant Dale Logue did not know the answer to is deliberately repeated for the show, while Dotto was found to be providing answers to its participants.
Possible?
Possible is absolutely right.
Number 7, Ryan Jenkins is suspected of murder. Megan Wants a Millionaire. I Love Money. Following Rock of Love, contestant Megan Hauserman was offered another chance at love by VH1 in Megan Wants a Millionaire. Among the contestants was so-called smooth operator Ryan Jenkins, who also filmed for the 3rd season of another dating show, I Love Money.
I figure, hey, if there's any time for a Baywatch dive, it's now.
During Megan Wants a Millionaire's initial broadcast, Jenkins' wife was found dead, causing the series to come to an abrupt halt. I Love Money 3 never made it to air. In the days after his wife's murder, Jenkins evaded police, crossing the border into Canada and eventually taking his own life before a trial could be held.
The manhunt for reality show contestant Ryan Jenkins ended yesterday when he was found dead in a Canadian motel.
Had Megan Wants a Millionaire continued, viewers would have seen him place 3rd, proving that people are not always what they seem.
You know, I put a lot of blame on myself for it for a long time because I knew him as a different person.
Number 6, Nasubi's Challenge. Susunu Denpa Shonen. Translating to Do Not Proceed, Crazy Youth, Susunu Denpa Shonen was a challenge-based game show in Japan, which became notorious for the cruelty of its competitions.
いろんな感情だったり、いろんな思いがわーっと頭の中で広がっちゃって、わーもうこれ寝れねえな、なんだって思った時に。
In its first year on air, the series began its most controversial challenge to date, Denpa Shonen Teiki Kensho Seikatsu, in which the contestant, Nasubi, was forced to live solely on sweepstakes prizes. His condition was filmed and reported on for 15 agonizing months, all without his explicit consent, as he struggled to win basic necessities, particularly food. What was at the time perceived to be light entertainment was actually the broadcast torture of a human being.
本当に孤独に苛まれ、本当絶望の淵まで追い込まれた。
Number 5, The Death of Michael Lush, The Late Late Breakfast Show. While The Late Late Breakfast Show wasn't technically a game show, its Give It a Whirl segment featured many hallmarks of the reality subgenre. Viewers of the variety show would call in as a whirly wheel was spun to decide what stunt they would perform on the following week's program. This included everything from car stunts to being fired out of a cannon. It was an incredibly dangerous segment, which had already resulted in a few injuries prior to the involvement of its final contestant, Michael Lush.
It certainly looked remarkably frightening from the pictures I can see.
Lush was set to perform a bungee jumping stunt that also involved a straitjacket and an explosion. No professional stuntman had attempted the feat prior to Lush's first day of training, and a fatal mishap cost him his life.
Because of the tragic accident involving Michael Lush while preparing for tonight's edition of the Late Late Breakfast Show, the BBC has decided to cancel this and all further editions.
Number 4, the Bleefnick family, Family Feud. When you tune into an episode of Family Feud, you know you can expect some well-intentioned barbs, a few double entendres, and plenty of wide-eyed reactions from Steve Harvey. So while this response from Tim of the Bleefnick family may not seem so out of the ordinary, the truth behind the scenes makes this moment extremely sinister.
What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?
Honey, I love you, but said I do.
Bleefnick was later convicted of the murder of his wife, Becky, who did not appear in the episode. Allegedly, his wife had requested a restraining order from him a year prior to her death, which was rejected by the legal system for unknown reasons.
And you shot her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times.
Tim Bleefnick was sentenced to life in prison, though he insists that he did not commit the crime.
Because of that joke, so many people paid attention to his case in this trial.
Number 3, Edwards Conceals the Truth. To tell the truth. Edwards had already been dubbed one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives when he appeared on To Tell the Truth. In fact, this history is the entire reason he was cast on the show.
I, Ed Edwards, was once on the FBI's list of the 10 most wanted criminals in America. Now I am a respected citizen in my community.
His unique life experience made him the perfect candidate for the series, which saw contestants attempting to guess which of the 3 people was that episode's central character. Although Edwards claimed to have been reformed and even wrote a book on his life as a criminal, his reformation was all a charade.
The real Ed Edwards, please stand up.
Between 1977 and 1996, Edwards lived as a serial killer, murdering at least 5 people. Looking back, it's hard to believe people let him achieve the level of fame that he did.
The more trouble you get into, the bigger you are in their eyes.
Number 2, Bullseye helps catch a criminal. Bullseye. John Cooper's crime spree began when he was just 17. Back then, he was seen publicly intoxicated and was charged with stealing cars and assaulting police officers. He would graduate to murder in 1985 when he killed a man and woman while robbing their farmhouse in Scoveston Park. 4 years later, he would participate in the game show Bullseye, a British series involving darts and trivia.
No one could know that this charming Welshman was a double murderer.
As his violent crime spree continued, investigators realized that a police sketch looked eerily similar to Cooper's appearance on the show and used the likeness as evidence to build the case. Following Cooper's conviction in 2011, ITV would officially vault the episode he appeared on, ensuring that viewers of the lighthearted game show weren't reminded of his grisly crimes.
You've got £220. What are you going to do?
You'd like to gamble.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, the dating game killer, The Dating Game. Now known as the Dating Game Killer, Rodney Alcala is notable for actually winning the episode of The Dating Game he appeared on. Luckily, the female contestant who chose him ultimately decided not to go on a date with him because she found him creepy.
Can you be a little more descriptive?
Peel me.
We're sure she's now thankful for following her gut instinct, as Alcala would later be directly linked to 8 murders, with many more considered open cases in which he was a prime suspect.
The detective frantically tried to call the police department and let other detectives know that he was on television.
Watching the show back today is unsettling, particularly when you consider no background check was performed on any of the show's potential bachelors.
Thinking back on it, it was very spooky.
Have you ever seen a game show with competitions you thought were too dangerous? Let us know in the comments.
There we go!